Would you like to know what has been my biggest stumbling block to understanding how to love thy enemy? What was the truth that set me free? Well, I'll get in that today. I'm Kerry Blaser Bazaglo, reincarnation of Mary Magdalene, the divine feminine. And I had to learn to love thy enemy. So I had a very traumatic childhood, and I met JC in my childhood. In high school, he was ASB president, looked like Adonis, varsity letterman, super good looking, all the girls wanted him, school of 2,000 kids. Okay. But it wasn't time for us to be together because I had to learn my lessons and he had to learn his lessons. And one of the lessons I had to learn is that I don't have an enemy, that on earth I truly have no enemies. When I accept who I am truly at a core level, like the basis of all basis, I don't have an enemy. So then I had to ask myself, well, if I truly don't have an enemy, why has the Christian church, who says they teach love thy enemy, acted like they have a lot of enemies and killed a lot of people? How many people died in, the Spanish Inquisition? Like what, 3 million? How many people died in Manifest Destiny when that's our land, we're taking it? We killed the buffalo and the beavers and the wolves. I mean, God makes the animals too, right? How can the animals be our enemy? Why couldn't we learn from the Native Americans who are trying to teach us how to be in relationship with the animals for their own good and our own good and the good of our ecological systems? But we couldn't hear that because we were so busy being right, that that's our land and we take it and we're going to farm it and we're going to do what we do. Kill the buffalo, kill the Native Americans. And then what happens? Oh, climate change. Oh, so anyway, let's get into why no one really has an enemy. So we are all souls having a human experience, and physicists have proven that. Physicists have proven that we are souls or energy bodies, and all of our energy bodies are connected through our heart space. I mean, that's how our souls talk to each other, and here's an example about how souls talk to each other. So have you seen all those millions of doorbell cam videos of the dog getting super excited every day, 1 or 2 minutes before the owner comes home? You've seen those videos, right? Yeah. So, and even if the owner comes home a different time of day, the dog always knows. Well, how does the dog know? Because our souls are all connected through our hearts. It's like a network, like the internet. It's a spiritual internet is the souls, right? And so, like JC, like I'm a shaman, so I work on the spiritual internet. He's currently the head of global security at GoDaddy. So he works on the physical internet. So we're mirror each other like that. I do the spiritual work first, and then he does the physical work second. The spiritual comes before the 3D, before the physical. Like, why do you pray before the battle and not after the battle? Surrender, then act. Femininity comes first. Drop the handkerchief, then the masculine acts, decides what to do. So when I accepted that I'm a soul having a human experience, and that my soul plans my life based on my wounds for self-improvement opportunities, so that I can expand my emotional range, expand my consciousness, and my emotional range is my soul. Our souls communicate out through our hearts based on our emotions, how we feel about ourselves. So if I spend a lot of time in fear, guilt, and shame, I'm communicating fear, guilt, and shame. If I spend a lot of time inside myself, love, compassion, and enlightenment, then I, express love, compassion, and enlightenment. And like Dr. Bruce Lipton, Dr. Joe Dispenza talk, that the heart is, and I'll show Bruce Lipton a video in a second here. The heart, the neurological structure in the heart is far more complex than the brain. And the heart sends far more signals in the brain than the other way around. And the electromagnetic field around the heart is 5,000 times stronger than the brain. But when we shut down our heart with fear, guilt, and shame, we over-rely on the brain. And so then we're just fighting ourselves. And there's the anxiety and the depression, the mental illness and health problems. And we put other people's needs, needs and wants before our own. We get super codependent, we become a shit. So let me see if I can, here, let me see if I can find this video. Oh, here it is. Okay, and then I'll let me share my screen. And in a second here, let's see. Let me go back here. Okay, I'm a little new, so please bear with me. Okay, layout. All right, and let me share my screen. And
hold in your mind. The brain releases complementary chemistry that matches that picture, and it releases it into the body. And the chemistry of the blood is what controls the genes and the behavior. Children, when adopted into a family where there's cancer running in that family, the adopted child will get the same family cancer. But the point, the adopted child has totally different genetics. What was the point? It was being adopted into a family where the programming of that child is what caused the cancer. It's consciousness who releases the chemistry to the environment.
By consciousness, he means the energy. Okay, and I'll quote Einstein, and I heard this quote from Dr. Bruce Lipton in a small group I was in with him about a month ago, hearing him talk. And Einstein said, the field is the sole governing agency of the particle. The field meaning the energy field or the soul, the particle being the body. The body is a mirror of the soul and not the other way around. So if the body's sick, the soul is sick. How about that?
That controls the genes. And you can change your consciousness, and you can change your environment.
What she means by change your consciousness is it's recalibrate your nervous system to resonate with fear, with love, compassion, and enlightenment instead of fear, guilt, and shame. Every time you learn to turn your wound into wisdom, like I'll teach you in a minute with my free ebook. I have my own DIY trauma healing technique. Like just use my ebook. You never need a session with me. Will teach you that you got to start at the starting point. The starting point is the soul. The spiritual comes before the physical. If you want to manifest, you got to do the emotional work in yourself, and then you manifest something great. It's not like, physical is great and the emotional comes great. That's communism. That's an external solution to an internal problem that'll never work because the external is a mirror of the internal and not the other way around. Happiness is not outside in, it is inside out. Okay? So let's finish the video.
And all of a sudden I said, oh my God, we were programmed to be victims. It turns out we are masters of our...
Programmed to be victims. When your nervous system is calibrated for fear, guilt, and shame, you are programmed to be a victim. But you are not. It is your opportunity to learn how to operate your soul, recalibrate your nervous system to love, compassion, and enlightenment so that you can go into your fear, guilt, and shame, but you don't live there like so many do. And then when you live there, there's the anxiety, there's depression, there's the mental illness.
Our genetic activity. And this is the new science called epigenetics. Whatever picture you hold in your mind.
So, love thy enemy. The only enemy you ever really have is yourself. Because everything is mirrors your wounds. So let me explain. So the universe is a mirror. It's one of my self-love strategies in the ebook. But how does that work? So the universe is a mirror showing you yourself in every moment as a constant feedback loop for self-improvement. And that's evidenced by the laws of physics. Right? We attract what we are through energetic resonance, meaning a vibrational match. So when my nervous system is calibrated for fear, guilt, and shame, I project that out of my heart, and what pulls my attention, my resonance, what I perceive, are fearful, shameful, guilty events. But now my nervous system, I recalibrated my nervous system over the past 10 years. And so now I resonate with love, compassion, and enlightenment. So I don't kind of perceive fear, guilt, and shame as constantly being outside of me like so many progressives do right now. Like, oh, let's defund ICE. That's reactive. It's like they don't sit around and think, oh, well, maybe it's safer for women, especially when, Trump got rid of 2.5 million people and the crime rate went down by 20%, biggest drop in U.S. history. See, they're not talking about that because they're so busy reacting that, oh my God, our neighbors, we gotta have. Not like, okay, hang on a second. What's logical here? What provides long-term safety and security for American families? They're not thinking about that. And a lot of them are immigrants. So they're kind of in their own worldview that, oh my gosh, like we got to stop the American government because they're getting us and Trump's getting us. It's mental, it's not reality. They are not grounded in reality. So this whole love thy enemy, when you learn to love thyself, then your external reality becomes very loving, more abundant. People, you get your relationships heal, your business does better, your family does better, because your external reality is a reflection of your internal reality. And love thy enemy. I was raped as a child. So in order to heal, I had to see myself, and I had to have compassion for myself and for others. And how did I learn how to have compassion for myself? How did I learn how much compassion I needed to give to myself? Well, I attracted Justin Waller into my personal life through Instagram on DM. We were DMing back and forth a couple months before his best friend, Andrew Tate, was taken off social media. And I helped them both with my shamanic gifts. And then when Andrew was thrown in solitary confinement, I helped him too. And I sat in my garage in the dark talking to his soul because I resonated with how alone he felt. We attract what we are, right? I felt that alone, that isolated. And he's the exact opposite. I have a rape wound, so I don't need to explain, right? And I'll just go on from there. He was warm up for the fire department that has a massive sex addiction crisis, and warm up for the FBI. JC was former FBI. Okay? So we all got problems. And the only enemy we have is ourselves, and we don't accept that we're souls having a human experience. When we believe crap like from Christianity that the cross is the only ladder to heaven, that kind of bullshit. Basically teaching to look outside of yourself for what you're supposed to be creating inside of yourself. And what I learned, that our emotional wounds are inverted wisdom. So the cross being the only ladder to heaven, heaven outside of ourselves, is inverted wisdom. It's a lie. It's a lie. Like, how is earth not heaven physically? Like, we restore the keystone species, the beavers and the wolves and the buffalo, and it'll all come back. The only thing I'm left with, the hell, are my relationships with myself and like my kids and my family, who I'm not talking to right now because we don't resonate. We just, taking a break. So the truth about how to love thy enemy is how to love thyself, because we have no enemies. All other souls are here to do is mirror me back to me. I attract people, and when I'm messed up, I attract people into my life that are messed up. My book is all about that. So the first guy in my book, we were at yoga together, and he had a special relationship with one of the yoga instructors. And she would kind of flaunt her side business as a dominatrix with a lot of sexual jokes. So one day before class, we were flirting. She didn't like it. So she started stomping dominatrix style around his mat. And I'm like, he fucked up. Like, there's no way I'm that messed up. Like, I can't do that. No. It took me 2 years to admit to myself that if I attracted him to my life for 2.5 years, I never went on a date. I haven't been on a date with any of these guys. That there's something that I have challenges too. Equal challenges. Hard to accept, but I had to take accountability for myself. If I want my life to improve, my relationships to improve, I have to change myself. Okay? It's like, I'm not the girl. Why are all men narcissists? Because I'm perfect. No. All the men that bitch attracts into her life are narcissists. Okay? And she has to accept that we all live in our own reality. So in her reality, what she attracts, the men that resonate with her are narcissists. Why? Because triggers are our healing friend and not our healing foe. Because when our emotional pain gets triggered to the surface, oh, I have a wound, I can turn into wisdom, and that's how you become more enlightened. That's how you expand your consciousness. That's how you expand your emotional range. That's how you learn to surf the waves of life, which is one of my lessons in my book. So let me pull it up, and we'll go over my book. And here are this is my free ebook, and it's linked below, The 6 Divine Feminine Self-Love Strategies. Let me scroll down. It's just 9 pages. It'll bring you to completion, okay? And I use laws of physics, psychology, mysticism, shamanism, neuroscience to explain how this works. And these are the processes I found myself using doing my own DIY trauma healing. So, okay. Appreciate, learn, and forgive equals ego death. This teaches you that how to process your emotional wounds, turn your wounds into wisdom, pain into purpose, right? Learn your lessons. And that regret and remorse aren't necessary because your soul plans your life based on your wounds for self-improvement opportunities. Okay, so our wounds are necessary. Our fear, guilt, and shame is necessary. And having the difference between the fear, guilt, and shame and love, compassion, and enlightenment is what fluctuates our energy. And fluctuating energy is alive energy. It can't get stuck at enlightenment, just like we can't get stuck at fear. We had to learn to surf the waves of life. Go up the wave and down the wave and up the wave and down the wave. And that's life. Like it or not. Now, I argued, but it just is what it is. Love hierarchy teaches you how to love yourself first. That diet, healthy exercise, rest, gratitude practice, walking barefoot in nature, learn Reiki. That's important when I talk about self-love. And when you fill your own cup of love first, and then you have overflow, it's you pour onto others from the overflow, not the inside. When you pour from the inside, you're giving away what you need to be healthy. So then you don't have enough, and then that's not healthy for anybody. Okay, number 3, learn to surf the waves of life. You know, if something's true, it's true in multiple places. Winston Churchill got it right, where he said, "It is said that famous men are usually the product of an unhappy childhood." Why is that? Because we have to surrender to our fear, guilt, and shame to process it through, to find the energy, the kind of kinetic energy, the propulsion, momentum, the inertia to climb our next mountain, right? Like if you want to climb Mount Everest, you don't just walk up, oh, I'm going to climb. No, you can do a deep dive into training, a lot of hardship, pull that self-belief out and physically, mentally, every which way. You surrender and then you act. Just laws of physics. Okay. And then there's a video down here below for you to watch explaining the laws of physics. And then the universe is a mirror showing you that, you know, the universe is constantly showing you yourself as a constant feedback loop for self-improvement. So when you see selfishness, when you perceive selfishness in someone else, that is your soul showing you the selfishness inside of yourself. Another video showing you how that's true. Changing the world is an inside job. This is how I used to feel from my childhood. I just rejected myself completely. So I attracted in other people who also reject themselves completely. And, you know, I have healed from that. And there's a video here showing why this is true. Then pain is an initiation process to personal growth. This is the last one. And I learned this from 35 years of debilitating lower back pain. That lower back pain was not a punishment from God for doing something wrong. That was my soul teaching me a lesson, okay? The lesson being pain is beautiful because it reveals what longs to be healed. My lower back was screaming at me to remember my childhood trauma, and it took me 35 years to learn how to listen, okay? I had my lessons to learn too, okay? So I'm not over here claiming any kind of, you know, moral or religious or spiritual authority in a sense. Yes, I am divine authority as the divine feminine, but, you know, I am a person just like everybody else. I have an advanced soul. I'm the heartbeat of the collective. So when I was like made my changes, I saw between 2020 and like today, I saw the collective like coming along with me. And I got much more deeper into my femininity, and like 2023, 2024, I saw the collective doing the same. And what's great is last year, the birth rate in America, non-white women went up, meaning non-Hispanic white women went up, meaning white women finally feel safe enough to give birth. You know, and as Mary Magdalene and formerly Mary Magdalene, you know, we can imagine why women didn't feel safe. I was turned into a prostitute for, 1,600 years. And, you know, the church believes that I wasn't his wife, or we didn't have kids, or, you know, it's like he was a rabbi in Israel. They all had kids. You know, why is Mary Magdalene always around him? That's a wife. So anyway, there's a lot to review there now, but I hope using my ebook, my 6 Divine Feminine Self-Love Strategies, will help you love yourself more. You can also there's a meditation and shamanic drumming video on my YouTube channel. This is all for free, okay? So you can get rid of the therapist, get rid of the psychologist, get rid of the mental health medication, you know, as appropriate. I'm not saying just drop today. Learn to listen to your soul. Learn to operate your soul with all of these strategies, and over time, your world will improve too. All right. Thanks so much. Bye.